Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I don't think people understand just how quickly a crisis can reshape the world. In 2014, Russian forces swiftly annexed Crimea, taking the world by surprise with their speed and coordination. This bold move redrew the map of Eastern Europe overnight, sending shockwaves through the international community and setting a precedent for modern territorial grabs. Now, imagine a similar playbook unfolding in Asia, China seizing Taiwan, not through a drawn-out invasion, but with rapid, decisive action that leaves little time for the world to react. This scenario is what keeps leaders in Tokyo, Manila, and Washington awake at night, as they contemplate the unthinkable and try to prepare for every possibility. The threat isn't just open war, it's a sudden dramatic shift that leaves the world scrambling to respond, unsure of what's happening or how to act. Picture a barrage of cyber attacks, political subversion, and special forces operations paralyzing Taiwan's government and military before they can even react, creating chaos and confusion. For Japan and the Philippines, this would be a crisis with generational consequences, affecting not just their security, but the very fabric of their societies. China could claim it's simply responding to pro-unification voices within Taiwan, framing the move as an internal affair and daring the world to intervene. The aim: create maximum confusion, exploit hesitation among world leaders, and test the resolve of the international community at every turn. Japan and the Philippines would face a stark, immediate choice: confront a nuclear-armed neighbor or accept a new, dangerous status quo that could reshape the region. January 7, 2026. Tensions are at a boiling point. Beijing's rhetoric is more aggressive than ever, and military drills are escalating dangerously close to Taiwan. For Japan and the Philippines, Taiwan is more than a neighbor. It's a vital buffer, and its fate directly impacts their security, economy, and access to global trade. Control of Taiwan means control of the sea lanes that carry energy, food, and trade to and from the region, making it a strategic prize for any power. Any change in Taiwan's status is an immediate existential threat to their survival, forcing governments and citizens alike to confront a new reality. In such a moment, the world would look to Japan, the Philippines, and the United States for leadership and a decisive response. But in that critical moment, there would be no easy answers, only hard choices and enormous risks. The stakes are immediate, the risks enormous, and the consequences could shape the region for decades to come. The region's future could be decided in a matter of days, with the world watching anxiously as events unfold. Taiwan isn't just an island, it's the heart of the global tech economy. Its semiconductors power everything from smartphones to military hardware. Any disruption would send shockwaves through global supply chains. For Japan and the Philippines, Taiwan's location is even more critical. It anchors the first island chain, containing China's navy and protecting vital sea lanes. If China controls Taiwan, it gains direct access to the Pacific, threatening Japan and the Philippines' lifelines. Both nations depend on these shipping routes for energy and trade. Politically, Taiwan's democracy stands as a counterpoint to China's authoritarianism. Its fall would embolden autocracies and isolate its democratic neighbors. For Japan and the Philippines, losing Taiwan means losing a partner and facing Beijing alone. The consequences would be immediate and profound. The region's balance would be shattered. For Japan, Taiwan's fate is a direct security issue. Yonaguni, Japan's westernmost island, is just over 100 kilometers from Taiwan. Japanese leaders openly link Taiwan's security to their own. If Taiwan falls, Japan's southern islands and US bases are next in line. The sea lanes near Taiwan are Japan's economic arteries. Any disruption would be catastrophic. If China's PLA establishes bases on Taiwan, Japan's defenses are outflanked. In response, Japan is boosting its defense budget, deploying missiles, and fortifying its southern islands. A Crimea-style move would force Japan to act, testing its new defense posture. The psychological impact would be huge. Japan would have to take a more active role in its own defense. The public, long wary of military engagement, would face tough choices. The post-war security order would be shattered. Japan would enter a new, uncertain era. The stakes couldn't be higher. The Philippines sits just south of Taiwan, its northern islands closer to Taipei than Manila. Any conflict over Taiwan would spill into Philippine territory. Nearly 200,000 Filipinos work in Taiwan. Their safety would be an immediate concern. The Philippines relies on the same sea lanes as Japan, but with a weaker military and economy. A crisis would disrupt trade, scare off investment, and risk a refugee surge. China's assertiveness in the South China Sea already pressures Manila. A Chinese move on Taiwan would embolden Beijing and threaten Philippine claims. The Philippines would be forced to choose between its economic ties to China and its security needs. A Crimea-style scenario would strip away ambiguity, forcing Manila to pick a side. The consequences would be lasting and profound. The nation's future would hang in the balance. The future of East Asia could be decided by a single factor, the United States. Both Japan and the Philippines are watching Washington closely, knowing their own responses hinge on American actions. Both nations have signed mutual defense treaties with the U.S., making Washington not just an ally, but the cornerstone of their security strategies and regional stability. U.S. military bases in Japan, along with new access points in the Philippines, are now critical staging grounds for any potential response to a Taiwan crisis. These locations give the U.S. and its allies strategic reach and rapid deployment capabilities. If the U.S. intervenes, China could retaliate by targeting American bases in Japan, forcing Tokyo to defend its own territory, and possibly drawing it deeper into conflict. The Philippines, after years of strengthening its alliance with Washington, now hosts U.S. forces at key locations near Taiwan, increasing its strategic importance in the region. This new reality makes Manila not only a vital partner for the U.S., but also a potential target in any regional conflict, raising the stakes for its leaders and people. The actions of both Japan and the Philippines will ultimately depend on the strength and clarity of U.S. resolve in the face of crisis. A strong American response would require not just words, but full Allied support, logistics, intelligence, and possibly even direct military participation from both Japan and the Philippines. On the other hand, a muted or hesitant U.S. stance would leave Japan and the Philippines exposed, forcing them to reconsider their own security strategies and alliances. In such a moment, the credibility of American security guarantees would be tested as never before, with global implications. The region's fragile balance depends on the unity and determination of this alliance, as any cracks could shift the power dynamic overnight. The stakes are enormous, either effective deterrence or the risk of unchecked Chinese power reshaping the region. In such a high-stakes scenario, the world would be watching every move, knowing that the outcome could redefine the future of Asia and beyond. If China moves on Taiwan, Japan's response would be swift. Tokyo would condemn the action, rally allies, and push for global sanctions. Japan would target China's economy, even at great cost to itself. Emergency measures would reroute shipping and secure resources. Militarily, Japan would raise its alert, reinforce southern islands, and share intelligence with the U.S. The big question: would Japan support U.S. military action? Under its new defense policies, Japan could provide logistics, intelligence, and even direct support. This would mark a historic shift from post-war pacifism. The decision would define Japan's role in regional security. The risks would be enormous, but inaction would be even more dangerous. Japan's choices would shape the region's future. The Philippines' response would be more limited. Manila would protest diplomatically, focus on evacuating its citizens, and seek ASEAN support. Economically, it would brace for shocks, trade disruption, capital flight, and possible refugees. The Philippines lacks the power to sanction China, so it would focus on resilience. Its most significant move granting the U.S. expanded access to bases near Taiwan. This would let American forces operate closer to the crisis zone. Direct Philippine military involvement is unlikely. Its role would be supportive, intelligence, logistics, and border patrols. The hope a strong U.S. presence deters escalation. Manila would walk a tightrope, supporting its ally without provoking direct conflict. The stakes: national security and economic survival. The Philippines' choices would echo across the region. The margin for error would be razor-thin. A Chinese annexation of Taiwan would send shockwaves through East Asia. It would undermine confidence in the world order, signaling that might makes right. Countries like Vietnam and India would see Taiwan's fall as a warning. A regional arms race would accelerate, with nations boosting their militaries. Japan might even debate acquiring nuclear weapons. Economically, supply chains would break, causing recession and investor flight. ASEAN's unity would be tested. Some members would hesitate, others demand action. The organization could be paralyzed, leaving countries to fend for themselves. The vision of a stable, integrated Asia would collapse. Fear and mistrust would replace cooperation. The region would become more fragmented and dangerous. The consequences would be global. Taiwan's fate is about more than one island. Its future is a symbol of the balance of power in the 21st century. It's a test of the global order, a challenge to the rules that have governed peace and cooperation for decades. The world is watching. Will sovereignty be defended, or will the international community allow borders to be changed by force? The question is urgent. Will the world stand by, or will it act to prevent borders from being redrawn through military might? Japan and the Philippines will help decide if Asia finds peace or plunges into conflict, as their decisions carry weight far beyond their shores. A successful Chinese move would embolden other powers, shake US credibility, and potentially trigger a new era of uncertainty. The fallout would reach Europe, the Middle East and beyond, affecting economies, security, and the lives of millions. The collapse of norms would threaten global stability, undermining trust in international agreements and institutions. For Japan and the Philippines, this is an immediate threat, not a distant problem, but a reality that could impact their citizens overnight. Their actions, alongside the US, will test the strength of alliances and the willingness of democracies to stand together. Can old treaties deter new threats, or must new strategies be forged to meet today's challenges? The answer will shape global strategy for decades, influencing how nations prepare for and prevent future crises. As of January 7, 2026, the situation is tense and uncertain, with every hour bringing new developments and risks. The world holds its breath, united in anxiety and hope, waiting for the next move, one that could change history. The hope is for peace, a resolution that avoids conflict and preserves stability. But the risks have never been higher, and the consequences of failure would echo for generations.